Wallace is the screenwriter of such epic films as Braveheart, Pearl Harbor, and The Man with the Iron Mask. He is also the screenwriter, director, and producer for the blockbuster film Heaven is for Real. The movie, based on the best-selling book, is the story of 4-year-old Colton Burpo, who had a near-death experience. I read that you majored in religion. How in the world did you become a screenwriter and a director?
Religion to me was the study of what people hold the most sacred, what they would fight for, what they would die for, what having in your life makes life worth living for. And I studied that. I loved to write. And I wanted to be a songwriter. And I set off from school to try to do that. And my journey led me to Hollywood, which I didn't go to in order to pursue movies. I was still trying to do music. And I had all these friends who were actors who kept complaining about how bad scripts were. And I wasn't getting anywhere in the music business. And I looked at a script one day and I thought, I could do this. And I started trying it, and it just felt completely natural to me, like it was the form that I was always meant to do.
I lifted up and I looked down. Mom was in one room, you were in another room yelling at God.
Randall's latest project, Heaven is for Real, was well received by moviegoers. However, at first, he was uncertain about getting involved with this supernatural tale.
What convinced you to move on with this project?
When I first heard about the story, I was skeptical because I thought it's just too sweet and too convenient and too good to be true. And when I read the story, I found it unfolding in an organic, natural, believable way of parents who weren't looking to create this kind of tale. When you've had a son who's nearly died and you're living in the emotional aftermath of that, and the son casually starts to talk about heaven, instead of just coming in and saying, I want you guys to know something. I went to heaven and here's what it's like, and as if it was a concocted story, that I wouldn't find believable. But when it's the kid going, oh yeah, that hospital, that's where the angels sang to me. What angels? Or you have a grandfather named Pop, don't you? Yeah. Oh, he's really nice. What do you mean? What? How do you know he's really nice? That sort of thing is storytelling in a way that becomes convincing of its truth.
And I also read that you said it takes courage to tell a story like this. Why do you think it takes courage to tell this story?
Well, in a certain way, I think it takes courage to tell any story that you might not believe or that others might not believe. I'll give you, one of the greatest examples of that is one reason that I believe the resurrection is a literal event, not a figurative event. I studied this when I was in school. I was fascinated by the resurrection of Jesus. And in Jesus' time, they didn't think women were a reliable witness. Women weren't a legal witness in courts. They just didn't recognize that a woman's testimony was valid. But the disciples all said the first ones that saw the resurrected Jesus were the women. Now, if you were going to make up a story, you'd try to make up a story that you thought would be the most convincing. But if you said, I know you're not convinced, but this is the truth, then that carries with it a ring of authenticity.
Now we have more stories of faith making it to the big screen. You have Noah, God's Not Dead, and yours, Heaven is for Real. What do you think is happening within this new tide that's come within, not just Hollywood, within the movie industry?
I think what is happening is that people feel the hunger, they feel the need for stories that are about what is eternal instead of what is trendy and temporary.
And for the Christian who is out there who has a story in their heart to tell, that they're burning to tell, what would be your advice to them?
My advice for anyone who has a story to tell, particularly for a Christian, is to tell your story that's true for you. Tell the truth as you know it. Not what you think the audience wants to hear, not what you think the marketplace wants to buy. Tell your story. Tell the truth as you understand it. Tell what gives you goosebumps, what moves your heart, what makes your heart sing. If you can tell that honestly, then you have done what you need to do.
And Heaven is for Real, what gave you goosebumps, and what is it that you hope to achieve through this film?
I got goosebumps when we were filming the scene when the little boy first sees heaven. My own mother passed away just a couple of months before we started filming. And when we were in the church scene and the little boy walks in and for the first time sees heaven, I sat and felt my whole heart just kind of melt. And I felt myself in the arms of God.